Welcome to Synthaholics. This is your host, David Duncan, and with me is...
Brian.
Hi, Brian. How it goes
Hello.
today?
That was my GLaDOS voice. I was trying to be GLaDOS for a second,
GLaDOS?
and then it totally failed because I can't do GLaDOS because I don't have like whatever filter GLaDOS has.
Voice modulation filter, yeah. I
don't
love
have a voice modulation.
Gotta love
So
GLaDOS.
we're gonna start with a couple of news pieces that we find interesting over the past 2 weeks. David, we have quite a few of them, I think. So, David, I'll let you do one. I do one. We'll do something like that.
Something like that. So,
Yeah.
I've been on record for saying I'm not excited about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Just the idea of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show just like totally didn't excite me at all. The trailer came out. I watched it, and I was like, maybe I will be interested in watching this after all. Although trailers are designed to make you want to watch them, I was surprised they were able to make me because I had zero interest. Although they might have been cheating using the Duel of the Fates music a little bit. Just makes everything slightly more epic.
Everything
Although,
just is.
would the trailers would it has been as good if they would have used Barbie Girl instead of Duel of the Fates? Actually, that would have probably been pretty good too.
I would have been more on board. I would have been like, okay, this is something we're gonna watch now.
I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. He's spying on Luke. It's fantastic.
Would it be even better if he was dressed as a Barbie? If he was dressed as Ken? Yeah. Ken the Barbie?
Yeah,
that'd be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I agree. The trailer did look better than what we were anticipating.
Better than
on record. Yeah, better than expected. But let's not get our expectations subverted. The show could suck.
I mean, it could. I mean, mostly what I see online is people just complaining that the Inquisitors don't look how they did in the animated show. No one looks like a regular person. Like, are you going to complain that Wookiees in the regular movies don't look like the Wookiees in the Rebel show? Rebels and the Wookiees in the Rebel show look terrible. So,
well, that just goes with anything animated or just anime in general or anything that's drawn. Nothing obviously animated is not going to be like real life. Like even anime characters have like giant eyes. Can you imagine seeing an anime character with giant eyes in real life? Like, oh my gosh, he's so sexy on the anime, but real life you'd be like, oh my god, no, what happened here? You look like an owl.
It's terrifying. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, like, part of the reason I couldn't get into the Clone Wars is because characters were too stylized. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Count Dooku had these giant points for chins. It was like it was bad looking.
They would use it for daggers when their lightsaber failed.
And they start fighting with their chins. Yeah, it was pretty epic in that way. In those deleted scenes that never made it. I don't know. I thought Cad Bane was beautifully transitioned to real life. Can't change the actor's head. I mean, you can put prosthetics on it, but I guess they didn't really bother. I don't really care. It's cool to see the Inquisitors. Darth Vader's supposed to be in a bunch of the episodes. Brian found out, like he read on the IMDb. I guess IMDb, right?
Well, it doesn't state if it's Darth Vader or Anakin. It just Hayden Christensen is in the same amount of episodes as Ewan McGregor.
Could have flashbacks.
Yeah, I don't know. They could be flashbacks. They could be him as Darth Vader. I don't know how that really makes sense since the show's called Obi-Wan. Are they just gonna cut to like
Obi Vader?
They're gonna cut to Darth Vader on like the Death Star. He's like, "We need to find Obi-Wan." Is that what he's gonna do?
Well, I'm just curious about how they just train up the Inquisitors so fast. Because I mean, like it usually takes years and years of Jedi training to be like a good Jedi, and then like these Inquisitors like theoretically came out of nowhere. It's like what? It hasn't been that long since Vader and the Emperor.
You're putting logic. Stop using logic.
And
logic is not allowed.
Logic, but the thing that bums me out about the Inquisitors is like I always imagined it was Darth Vader hunting down and killing the Jedi. And then
it's not anymore.
Darth Vader doesn't even do that. He's too lazy. He's just gonna train a couple of bozos and send them to go do it.
Yeah, exactly. That's how they're gonna do it. So we can't use logic.
So what's your next news topic?
Harry Potter, man, the Harry Potter game. Now, I am, as many people are, millennials, and if you're a millennial, you're supposed to like Harry Potter. That's like the rule. That's the meme. That's the because the younger generation.
So what was your favorite PS2 Harry Potter?
They say No, not that game. We're not playing that game. We're talking about Hogwarts Legacy. They had a state of play this week, and it looks amazing. The graphics look cool. The particle effects look cool. I'm worried about the story, and I want Dumbledore to be the classmate of whoever the main character is.
Now, what
That's
about
all I have to
Dobby?
say about
Can Dobby be the
it. Dobby
classmate?
cannot be in it. Dobby's only 40 years old. Dobby's not old enough to be in it. No, I already went through on my own time and tried to find, because they said in the trailer when they were showing it off, you'll see some familiar faces. But pretty much anybody from Harry Potter that in the original, 1 through 7 or however many movies there are, they're all too old. They won't be born yet, or they're too young to be in this video game. However, the Fantastic Beasts ones, possibly, maybe, I don't know. Who cares? That one's from like the 1920s, and this takes place late 1800s. So it's possible. I don't know for sure though. We'll just have to wait and see. I am excited for the game though.
Maybe Creature, the other house elf that's really old.
Yeah, I don't know how old Creature is. Maybe Creature's in it. I have no idea. We'll just
Young
have to wait and
Creature
see.
when he was like a Studley house elf.
Creature. What's your name, Creature?
I'm a creature.
Anyway, I'm a big Harry Potter fan. I like Harry Potter. I read all the books. I like the movies. Fantastic Beasts kind of sucks.
I read the
J.K.
books.
Rowling is the problem. Just like in general, at being a human, she's a problem.
Wow, hot takes.
She just changes canon things,
Yeah, she's
and
just
her
like,
takes
oh,
in
yeah.
real life is kind of weird. But to each their own. She made something cool and then doesn't know how to do it anymore. But
And
it
then,
is what it is.
And then the retroactively retcons it for no reason.
Yeah, when she was like, somebody asked like, how do they go to the bathroom at Hogwarts, and her answer was, they just go in their pants and they magic away. They magic it away. That's canon. So if you're curious, if you go to Hogwarts, they don't have bathrooms, and if they need to use the bathroom, they just magic the poop away.
That's not true.
It is true.
Not true. The
It is true.
Polyjuice potion, Hermione's hiding in the bathroom and turns into a cat.
Oh no, this was before. This was before they had plumbing. Because Hogwarts is very old. Canonically, it's an old school. So before they had plumbing, they would magic the poop away.
They had magic depends.
Yes, exactly. They had magic depends.
They marketed it to Muggles after the invention of actual plumbing.
Yeah, they're secretly the ones that are behind Depends.
And they made Depends, absolutely.
That's where they get their money. They're funded by Depends.
Absolutely.
Now, for our next topic, David, I'll toss it back to you for Picard.
Oh, you see, I've watched the first 2 episodes. The first season of Picard was a total train wreck, just about all of it. The first 2 episodes have actually been pretty good. I was scared they're going to ruin Q. And so far, I mean, episode 3's out. I haven't gotten a chance to watch yet. But so far, it's pretty good. I have to agree with the Red Letter Media. It wasn't terrible. So I just hope they continue this on. But I have to agree with Rich Evans. I pretty much know they're going to ruin it somehow at some point before the season's over. I just hope it stays good.
Oh boy, Star Trek. All right, back to me now.
Yeah,
Brandon Sanderson, I've said before, is my favorite author, and he just had a Kickstarter, which is the highest Kickstarter of all time, made the most money.
What?
And I just really wanted to.
He beat Star Citizen?
No, wait, was that a? I don't know. When I looked at Kickstarter's website, they said it's the highest funded thing on Kickstarter. So I'm going by what Kickstarter said. I don't know much about Star Citizen if they branched off and did their own thing.
They did a bunch of other crowdfunding. It is the highest crowdfunded thing ever, I think.
Yeah. It's probably not all Kickstarter then if Kickstarter itself said they'd have the highest.
Well, they only did a Kickstarter only lasts for like their initial run or whatever. But they just keep taking crowdfunding by, hey, look, we made a new ship. Want to buy it?
It's $42,000.
It's only more than a couple American cars combined. It's fine.
Yeah, but Brandon Sanderson, on top of the couple books he wrote in the past few years, he secretly wrote 4 other books without telling anybody, and he's releasing those starting next year. And I really just wanted to, dig at George R. R. Martin, who doesn't know how to write a book anymore. He kind of stopped writing books. It's been like 10 years, and he hasn't put out one book. And Brandon Sanderson's over here putting out in the pandemic. He's like, it was a pandemic, and I couldn't travel, so I wrote 4 books.
Well,
So
to be fair, George R. R. Martin hunts and
mutton.
packs mutton. Yeah, he might as well be mutton at this point. He hunts and packs on a keyboard. Like he uses DOS, and he's got to have one of those like 16 length dongles to eventually get to a USB, so he can move it to a computer with internet. I mean,
Do you think he even knows like how to finish this story, or do you think he's just like I don't because realistically he's in his 70s. He still has a couple more books to go before this series is done. At this rate, he's like 100% not going to make it to finish the series.
well, hopefully he'll pull
So
a Robert Jordan and have Brian Sanderson finish it for
no,
him.
I don't want that. George R. R. Martin's the one that needs to finish it. I don't trust any author to write those books except they have very different writing styles. Brandon
well,
Sanderson would not be
well,
good at it.
Well, Brian Sanderson picked up Robert Jordan's writing style extremely well. I honestly, other than the name on the cover, I wouldn't have known that it wasn't Robert Jordan writing it had I not know he had passed away and different author writing it.
Sure, sure. Well, maybe someday.
Sanderson captured the style of Jordan's writing extremely well in my opinion. Like it felt very similar. So he can definitely imitate the style of other authors for sure.
Gonna be a copycat. Copycat.
Well, I mean, you want
But
to. I mean, you want to. I mean,
oh yeah,
you don't. I mean, if you're continuing someone else's work, you don't want to write in your own voice because then it's not going to be. It's not going to feel like the books you were reading, right? And he did a good job of keeping the feel of Jordan's style.
yeah,
I
absolutely,
really
absolutely.
appreciated that. So good on Brian
He did it.
Sanderson.
He did his best. Good old Brandon Sanderson and bad old George R. R. Martin, who can't write anymore. All right, that's all I want to say about that. So I think we're on to the meat and potatoes of our backgrounds here.
The Batman.
Directed by Matt Reeves. Now, as we always do, David, starting at the top, what do you rate this movie?
I think I'd give it like a 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah, I really
Okay.
enjoyed it. It's probably my favorite Batman movie. With the Dark Knight being a close second, because Heath Ledger's Joker was amazing. I liked Christian Bale's Batman, except for the dumb Batman voice, and luckily Twilight Boy doesn't try to do a Batman voice. He talks regular the entire time.
Why he doesn't act like
That's
a
not.
vampire in
He's
this?
like, "I'm Batman." Yeah, he doesn't do that. So Bale was a little bit silly. This is a lot more serious take on Batman, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that he was a detective. Um, Enjoyed this one. What about you?
I'm gonna give this movie a 7. However, we'll go 7.5. I was debating in my head for like 2 weeks on what I should give it, 7 or 7.5. We'll go 7.5.
Well, I just
This
remember after you saw it, you texted me, was like, "I can't wait to hear what you think about this."
Yeah, because I'm definitely just based on what because this is the first time we're talking about it.
Yeah,
Based on what
we
you just
don't.
told me, we don't agree. I tell you, we don't agree. I think I rewatched all of Christopher Nolan's 3 movies after I watched the Batman to really solidify in my head. Was like, is the Batman better than Christopher Nolan's movies? And I don't think they are. It's definitely not better than The Dark Knight. It's probably on par with The Dark Knight Rises, and I think Batman Begins is also better than the Batman. I think a lot of people now. I put thought into this. I think a lot of people forget how good The Dark Knight Rises is and Batman Begins because The Dark Knight overshadows those 2 other movies. You got to keep in mind here. Christopher Nolan directed those other 2 movies too. They're very good movies. It's just they can't hold a candle to The Dark Knight because of Heath Ledger. He ruined the rest of the series. But that's what I think is going on. The
Well,
Dark Knight Rises is very good.
I
People
I
just have it. When was the last time you watched it? When it came out?
yeah.
Exact. See, you should rewatch it. It's
I've
better than you think it
I've
is.
seen it since. I don't know. It just Bane being the main bad guy was not great, and he wasn't even the main bad guy. They ended up relegating him to basically being a henchman who just had the focus of the movie the entire time. The main bad guy is only in the movie for like 2 minutes. like
Sure.
Talia
There's
al Ghul. Like it was a really bad bait and switch. I didn't care for that. Heath Ledger ruined it. I wish they would have done a different villain other than Bane. I mean, there's some cool shots in the
oh wait,
movie.
Heath Ledger ruined it? Heath Ledger ruined it because he was too good
He
or
was too
what? What do
good.
you
Yeah,
mean?
Heath Ledger was great. Like
Yeah.
he was great as the Joker. And I think the Dark Knight and the Batman are on par with each other. Batman Begins was good. It's a good movie, but I did not like. I thought he did not stick the landing with Dark Knight Rises. Not very impressed with that one. I mean, it
Well,
was I
for
mean,
that movie,
it's an entertaining movie, but out of the
sure.
three, it is by far the worst.
See, I think what the problem is with that one is you have fair points. Is they probably were going to use Heath Ledger for The Dark Knight Rises. I would imagine they were probably going to do something with him, but he died, so they probably had to do a massive rewrite for the entire movie to try to figure out what to do. Maybe Bane was never even part of the plan, but they had to use
But
somebody,
there's
and
other Batman villains.
well, they decided to use Bane. I don't know. What, because this movie, as well as the Christopher Nolan ones, are more grounded in reality than
I
what Batman as the comic book character is. They're more realistic, like more so the Batman, but
is by far the
also the
most
Dark Knight. Yeah, it
realistic
can
take on
happen. I feel
Batman.
like this can happen, and it's true for the Christopher Nolan movies as well. It can happen. We're still not there technology wise to be able to do what's going on in that movie, but we're close. This movie, you definitely can. There definitely can be somebody that can replicate that. And Batman villains are hard to do to make, real. I don't know who. I mean, I don't know Batman super well, but it's not like they can get like, I don't know. What's another bat? I guess they could do. No, they can't do. There's an alligator guy, isn't there? Or Sandman? I don't know. There's a couple
There,
Batman villains that are hard
there's
to like transform into real.
Clayface. That'd be a lot of CGI, but Clayface would be fun. I always liked Clayface in the animated series back in the day. I was always
Yeah, but you can't
wanting like a
Clayface because he's not real. It's not realistic enough. How are you going to get a Clayface in real life?
There's Killer Croc. I mean, like
You can't do that either. There's a lot of them you can't do because they wanted to be grounded in reality, and that's just how I guess they landed on Bane and Talia al Ghul because they are just humans that
more
are
grounded.
part of organizations, I
I mean,
guess.
you get Penguin, which I mean is in this movie.
Yeah, he is
Uh,
in this movie. They did have Penguin. But
which
yeah, that's what they're grounded in reality. But also comic book these DC is like comic book movies have their own thing. Malia, not Mar Malia. That's not. I don't know where
Malia
I.
Al Ghul.
Yeah,
That's Talia's sister.
Marvel. I was trying to say Marvel. Marvel movies have like a one continuous timeline where comic books themselves have like different versions of what's going on that are not related to each other. And just for comic books, it seems like DC's starting to do that too. It's like DC are following what comic books do. They have like this timeline and this timeline and this timeline. They're all over the place. And that's
Yeah.
what this movie is too. It's not related to anything. At least Matt Reeves doesn't want that to happen.
Yeah, he doesn't. He just sounds like he does not want it related to it, which is sad. Because I mean, it's fine because maybe they can get Ben Affleck back as Batman. Because I actually like Ben Affleck's Batman. Just Batman vs Superman wasn't a very good movie. But
Actually, in terms of in Batman, where do you rate this Batman? Twilight Man. Where do you rate Twilight Man in terms of all the Batmans that we've seen on screen? I want to hear a Bruce Wayne one and a Batman one. Who's the best Bruce Wayne? Best Batman.
Michael Keaton's always gonna be my best Bruce Wayne, I think, because like he pulls off that like super emotionally damaged, super distant, like you talking to me, like the Bruce Wayne thing, where he's just like kind of like just so far removed from everything because of his past trauma. Twilight Boys also kind of got that, but he's more emo and like he responds to people. He's not like that aloof, like what's going on type of thing, which I liked how Michael Keaton did that kind of Batman. So I think I would probably say Michael Keaton, Bruce Wayne, then um what's the actor who plays Batman? I can't remember Twilight Boy's
And the
name.
Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, I
I
can't.
can't
Robert
remember his
Pattinson. Robert
Robert
Pattinson.
Pattinson. Yeah, Robert Pattinson. I'd probably say him next for Bruce Wayne. Um, then Adam West,
Adam West,
then
the greatest Batman.
the greatest Batman that ever was. And then I would say um
Man, you're digging deep here.
Christian Bale, and then Ben Affleck, because we didn't really get a lot of Bruce Wayne in the movies with Ben Affleck, so it's kind of hard to say because we haven't really had a solo Batman Ben Affleck movie. I mean, there was Batman vs Superman, but he's mostly just fighting Superman in that movie. So we don't get a ton of
Sure.
Bruce Wayne, and most of Bruce Wayne's stuff in those movies is like in the Batcave talking with Alfred or trying to like meet up with the Flash or whatever. So he's not really in Bruce Wayne mode. Like we don't see him acting. We don't see him involved with like other business people or randos. He's mostly interacting with people who know his identity or he's gonna tell his identity. So it's not. We don't get a good feel for how Ben Affleck's Batman is. So that's why I'm gonna put his Bruce Wayne at the bottom. So
Sure.
your
Sure.
go for Bruce Wayne's Batman.
I don't want to go back as far as the 90s and the 80s and Adam West because
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
remember.
I forgot about
Yeah,
all those. I forgot about those.
I don't remember all of them as well, but the past 20 years of Batman's
Val Kilmer, George Clooney are at the very bottom. I mean,
at the very bottom.
just yeah, they're
I
so
can't go
far
that
down.
far because I don't remember the movies too well enough. They're not fresh in my head. But I think Ben Affleck is good on both sides. He's a good Bruce Wayne and a good Batman. I think Robert Pattinson is the best Batman that we've had, and
For
I
Bruce
think
Wayne,
Christian Bale's he's what I say.
Batman.
He's no yeah he's the best Batman. I think it's the
I thought we were doing Bruce Wayne's right now.
I was doing both.
Oh,
I was doing both, man. I'm doing
I
both.
hadn't done the Batman's yet.
Okay, you can do the Batman after. Okay, I think Ben Affleck is good at both. He's good at Bruce Wayne and Batman.
I agree.
Robert
I just
Pattinson,
wish we got more of Ben Affleck. You know what
I
I mean?
agree,
Because
but Ben Affleck didn't want to do it.
we didn't get more of him as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he's not coming back, man.
Yeah.
You can hope, but he's not coming back. I don't think. I think Robert Pattinson's the best Batman, not a good Bruce Wayne. He is the most comic accurate Batman for sure. I don't know about Bruce Wayne, and Christian Bale's the best Bruce Wayne, not the greatest Batman. That's right. That's where those are my
And
rankings.
we're all over the place.
Yeah, we have.
Although
That's why I was curious what your opinions were because I figured we were gonna have very different opinions on this stuff.
very different opinions. So my best Batman is also going to be Robert Pattinson's Batman, most screen accurate Batman. We actually see Batman doing detective work. Oh my god.
Awesome, and he's good at
About
it.
freaking time. I mean, Batman's supposed to be a detective. Like that's what he was in the comics. He's like world's
That's
greatest
the thing.
detective. And we've never once seen him do anything remotely detective-y in any of the other Batman films until this one. So I'm glad we've got Detective Batman. And then as far as Batmans go, I would have to say Ben Affleck next. Then Christian Bale, and then Keaton, and then put the rest of them at the very
Rest of them.
bottom. Just
Well,
the other two, the Schumacher versus Batman. I don't even think about those because like they're just so bad.
now another character is Catwoman. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. Definitely way better than Anne Hathaway. 100%. Zoe Kravitz was awesome. I feel like at sometimes when she was on screen, she stole the show. I think she was very, very good and intriguing.
She was an excellent Catwoman, and I liked how like she had the short hair and wore all those wigs, so she just like blended in all those places. Like that's totally like what a real life like Catwoman would do, so she could like blend into different situations and
Agreed.
be a good burglar because you could see her and then see her again and not even recognize her.
Yeah, she was really good. I hope they use her again. Man, just make a Catwoman movie. I'll go see it.
I mean, like I would love them because I mean this is sort of like Batman villain Muppet Babies because like this is like the infancy of everything. So like Catwoman isn't really fully Catwoman. She's definitely gonna be Catwoman. She's got the cat. She's a cat burglar, but she hasn't adopted the mantle of Catwoman fully. I think. I mean, she did say the cat and the bat, but I mean, like her outfit's pretty sparse. I mean, you know, Penguin
It's
is
not
just
much of an outfit.
yeah, it's not much of an outfit yet. It'd be nice for her to get like a full fledged Catwoman get up. Um,
Yeah,
Penguin,
she was awesome.
the Riddler, which is the main villain of this movie. I did not like his get up.
No, he was just kinda wearing, like, duct tape around,
It's
and I
just
will
like duct
say
tape,
about
yeah.
this that there Matt Reeves did take some, liberties from the Dark Knight series, and the Riddler had, like, those little videos that the Joker would use to tell people about stuff. There's 2 more I can think of, but we haven't got that far yet, but that's something I found a commonality between that the Joker did, like, little videos of somebody scared, and this Riddler also does the same type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, like, I liked how the Riddler did his things. Like, he was like really messed up, and that was really interesting. I just didn't like the
Was.
way I didn't like the way he looked. He was just like, I don't know.
Yeah, it looked like they ran out of time. They're just like, "Put duct tape on."
It's just like Batman looks really cool. We did this insane makeup for the Penguin. He looks awesome. It doesn't even look like Colin Farrell anymore. The main bad guy. Let's just duct tape him.
Duct
Green
tape it.
and then
And
green Sharpie.
Speaking of the Penguin, good gosh. Colin Farrell, I would never know it's Colin Farrell unless he talks, then I can get a little bit of Colin Farrell in there, but still, even the way he changes his voice.
I don't get Colin Farrell from his face, from his voice, from anything. Like, other than that, it's phenomenally acted. I don't get any Colin Farrell at all, and it was amazing. I know comic movies don't often win Oscars, but this movie needs to win Oscar for makeup because I mean, it was
It won't.
it was amazing.
It's a superhero movie, it won't.
It deserves an award. It was amazing.
Well, also, they greenlit a Penguin TV series. I don't know how interested I like Penguin was cool. I don't know if I want a TV show about him, but I also would have said the same thing about Peacemaker, and that is probably going to be one of the best shows I see this year. So we'll have to see where that goes. But it was that type of performance where they're like, man, like Colin Farrell turned into the Penguin in real life. We now have to like continue using him.
It was weird because like I was getting Tony Soprano vibes from the Penguin, like just the way he
Oh,
kind
for
of talked,
sure.
like it's like he was doing like a almost a I can't think of James Gandolfini, almost an impression when he was doing Penguin. He came off very Sopranos, which was great. I
Yeah.
mean, it fits the Penguin character. It was amazing. I absolutely loved it. Everything about the Penguin character and how he looked and
I,
how it was done.
I want to talk a little bit about Gotham itself because this we don't see a lot of daytime in this movie. It is mostly night. We might get a sunrise or sunset. I don't remember really,
It was
but the whole
sunrise at the
movie
very end
takes
of the
place at
movie.
night.
Yeah.
And Gotham in the way they portray Gotham in this movie makes it feel like it sucks so bad that like Batman is the only option. He's like nobody's fixing anything except Batman. That's how well of a job they did with Gotham to show that like yeah, this place is not a place you want to live. It's dark, it's dreary, it's kind of sucks. There's too much robbery, cops can't keep up, there's dirty cops. It's like a bunch of stuff going on and it feels like Batman's the only one that can fix it.
Also, is this Gotham New Orleans?
Maybe.
Because
Maybe it's New Orleans.
it's underwater. Like, because
Yeah.
they broke all the levees or whatever, and it started flooding, and I'm like, what? I
Well,
mean,
they do go to the pinnacle of the Riddler's plan, which actually, if we're going to spoil the entire movie, which we already are, now if we really want to spoil it, the ending of the movie, Batman loses. He is not successful. The whole city gets flooded. I guess it must takes place in New York City because they all go to Madison Square Garden, which is in New York City, and there is water. It isn't an island, but like
I understand that, but I don't think New York City is underwater. I mean, I don't think it's below sea level.
I don't know enough. Well, I mean, it's a movie, so like it can be if they want it to be.
But New Orleans is below sea
It is below sea level.
level.
Yes,
It could
true,
have been
true.
this. It could have been the Superdome or whatever. Where the
Yeah, so I guess we just
same
spoiled
story.
the end of the movie. Batman is not successful. He saves a few people towards the end, but like if Gotham is not really recovered here, there's a lot of trouble. Flooding would cause a lot of problems. If can you imagine if like New York City as a whole flooded with like 4 feet of water, it would destroy the city.
Yeah.
So
Funny.
that's what happens. The Riddler's plan does work out, I guess. I don't know. That's what he wanted. So that happens.
Although, just to be fair, the movie, I think my only kind of biggest criticism about the movie is because Batman failed. It almost has a Return of the King vibe to it, where you think it's over, and then it goes on for another 30 minutes.
Well, and speaking of that, this is a long movie, and you're a big pacing guy. Give me that pacing thoughts. Give me the
I
pacing.
thought the movie was beautifully paced. I mean, like, I did think it was coming to an end, and then it went on for another 30 minutes, but it did make sense. It was fine. Um, Honestly, the movie felt about as long as Venom did.
I
Venom,
agree. The pacing, even though it was a 3-hour movie, the pacing was really good. I didn't notice it being 3 hours,
I
but
did,
I did have to plan on it being 3 hours because it is a long movie in real life. Because
yeah.
I was like, when I'm picking out movie times, I'm like, okay, well, if I go to this one, I'm not going to get home till 2 in the morning, and I have work in the morning.
So yeah,
So
so you have to you have to logistically think about it, but it didn't feel that long. Like, because Venom was an hour and a half movie. It was a short movie, and it felt like 3 hours watching. I was like, God, when are they gonna get to the movie? Just isn't flowing. This movie
yeah,
flowed very well, very well.
when is Bane going to get to the point?
Yeah, who knows? But I really enjoyed it. When is Bane gonna get to the point? I like Smeagol as Alfred. I mean, can't compete with Mike O'Kane, but you know.
Okay, I'm glad we agree on that because I was gonna bring that up too. I was like, "What do you think about Andy Serkis?" I didn't think honestly, I don't think he did that great of a job. I think he was okay.
I mean,
He was just okay.
I like Andy Serkis. I mean, he didn't have a lot to do in this movie, although I like the idea of a younger Alfred because Alfred, like, at least in the Gotham show, Alfred kind of like trains Bruce, at least initially, and it is definitely talked about in this movie that Alfred trained Bruce how to fight.
Yeah, for sure.
So
And I mean, it's you are right. You can't compare to Michael Douglas. I mean,
Michael
he drops
Caine,
like knowledge bombs on people. He did a fantastic job. But it is Michael Douglas who is a pretty fantastic actor in the first
Michael
place.
Caine,
Michael Caine.
not Michael
Michael
Douglas.
Caine. Oh yeah, Michael. Yeah, not Michael Douglas. I'm getting
I
confused.
mean, you can't beat the Michael Caine Cockney accent and then dropping truth bombs on Bruce with his Michael Caine accent.
Exactly. That you sound you sound exactly like him. I've
Mike,
never heard. Are you Michael Caine?
I am young Michael Caine.
So, moving on a little bit here. There's a few things, or there's one thing that does irk me a little bit, except one part of it. The sound design for the Batmobile, 10 out of 10. When they fired that puppy up and they got that jet engine in the back, woo, boy, that theater was shaking. However, the Batmobile itself looks like an American muscle car. And I don't care what anybody says, I don't like it.
Well, I mean, again, you're talking about the most realistic portrayal of
Yeah, the
Batman,
realism.
which is even a further step because I mean, the Ben Affleck Batmobile is still kind of mostly a car. It's just way more fancy. Like, it's just a bunch of fun bolts and screws and pieces of metal like hooked to it and some guns. You know, because that Batman just murders people because he's got like machine guns on his car. But that's like more of a car. So like we had the Tumbler and the which I really didn't like the Tum. I mean, it was neat, but it didn't really look like a Batmobile in the Nolan movies. Didn't
It is a real functional
it
vehicle
was a
though.
real functional vehicle, but
They have many of them.
but it didn't look like it would be a real functional vehicle. It's a bizarre design. And then we've got the Batfleck mobile, which is more like a normal car, but with lots of bells and whistles on it, which is cool. I mean, it looks like a Batmobile. I enjoy that. And then we've got this, which is even further to like this is just a car with a jet engine on the
It
back.
honestly really looks like an old American muscle car, like a Dodge Charger with like a jet engine on the back of it, just attached to it. That's what it looks like. And honestly, without like digging deep into it, I wouldn't be surprised if that's is what it is.
Yeah,
Just an old muscle car with an engine on it, a
yeah.
prop engine. It's not real, of course.
It
Maybe it
just
is. Maybe they do have a real jet
it
engine
just
on it.
looks cool. I mean, like I mean, I didn't think it looked all that impressive. That I mean, even in the trailer, I'm like, I was underwhelmed by the Batmobile. But I mean, I understand they're striving for realism in this movie, so I'm okay with it, but yeah, I gotta say the sound design for the car was great. Also, the music. Speaking of just sound design in general, the music was great. I love the gothic
The theme
piano
song for
feel.
Batman. Yeah.
Just the how gothic pretty much all the music was. It was very moody, atmospheric, and it's probably one of the things that helped the pacing. Like just when you've got good sound design and music design and like your filmography is good and you're moving the story along, even if it's a 3 hour long movie, as long as the story's moving and it makes sense, it's good.
Yeah, and speaking to that point, I think the music was really important in making Vengeance, they don't call him Batman, they call him Vengeance in
Vengeance,
this
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Uh, how scary and intimidating he is. Just there's a Batmobile chase that is a really good chase. It's a pretty good chase, and whether it's real or not, I don't care. But like when I think it was the Penguin who he was chasing, he
It
flips
was.
over the car, and Vengeance starts walking towards him, and man, that is a menacing, intimidating guy. And there was no dialogue, no nothing. They just had that Batman theme song playing the like in the
Yeah.
background as he slowly walks towards him with fire behind Batman. It was just like, man, what is this dude gonna do? Is he gonna crack and just like pull Penguin's head off or something?
I
And that was throughout the whole movie. That wasn't just that scene. Batman in this movie is always intimidating. He's always scary. You never know if he's gonna snap. It was like this is the point where Batman becomes like
Psycho
a
murderer.
villain. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was awesome. That's why he's my favorite Batman because I know like as much as I can say I'm not familiar with the comics, I do know stuff about the comics and Batman's a scary guy in the comics. Like he's not E for everyone for comic
Oh,
book stories.
absolutely not.
He's just not. If you want to talk about the real Batman, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, just him being scary. Whoo!
I just love the sound design, how hard hitting all his punches were. It was just like absolutely every single
Oh,
time.
when he punches Jim Gordon, it's like could you have pulled that punch?
I did. He's like, holy crap. He's like, you can't imagine what it's like getting punched by Batman at full force.
Or when they're Batman's invading onto a detective scene, and I don't remember exactly what it said, but like he touches a cop, and they're like, "We got you for assaulting a cop," and he's like, "No, you have 3," because he touched 3 cops.
Yeah.
He was just like very like straight, like this is what it is.
Well, whenever he was in the cell, like actually, my one gripe about the Batman in this movie was that he gets knocked out a lot around people who could just take his mask off.
Yeah, but
Like I mean,
it did look like it'd be hard to take that mask off. It looks like it's attached. It doesn't look like something you could just kind of like take it off like a hat.
especially in the police cell because they moved him from the scene to the
Okay.
cell, and they're
Yeah, he
just
was knocked
now
out.
talking about taking his mask off right before he wakes up. Like it was just kind of like,
He was knocked out for a while. So for
I
the
mean,
uninitiated who haven't seen it, he gets blown up by a Riddler bomb, I guess.
Riddler
I don't.
bomb, the question mark
Yeah,
bomb.
A Riddler question mark bomb, and he gets passed out. He's laying on the ground, and he wakes up inside the police station. So they transported him. He must have been out for like at least 20 minutes,
Yeah, well,
something like
however
that,
long it
probably.
takes to, and then they just start talking
Yeah.
about taking his mask off the very second he starts waking up, and then he
It's like,
freaks
oh, you
out
didn't
about
think about
the
that
policeman.
the 2 hours he was knocked out for?
Yeah, yeah, it's weird. Yeah, the policeman, like, why wouldn't they have done that like first thing? Like he's knocked out, perfect. Let's see who this guy is, because I mean, Jim Gordon's the only one that seems to like Batman, even though the police station has the bat signal on it. Was that privately funded by Jim Gordon just by himself?
Yeah,
Like,
he takes it out. He takes a pay cut so he can have a light.
does he solely have that light? Like, I mean, like, I
He
don't know.
rents it. He leases the spot on the roof. Oh, that's funny.
That's because it's just odd that it's there if like he's the only person on the police force that like likes Batman. You think at
It does
least
seem that way.
it seems like there should be more people that like Batman if that's there.
Probably. I would tend to agree with you on that. I would tend to agree with you.
It's odd.
Also, the Riddler riddles. How did you feel about them? To me, I think they're really good storytelling, thumb drive and all that, and then some of them were a little bit cool. But I wish Batman kind of struggled with them a little bit. Like he seemed like completely unaffected by every riddle. Like, people would read out this riddle and they're like, "What the hell does this mean?" And Batman's just like, "It's the color yellow," or whatever. Like, immediately. Didn't even have to think about it.
Well, that's why we get the world greatest detectives. He's like, "Oh, I know what this is," because he's supposed to be smart. He's supposed to be the best detective there is, and
Yeah, but didn't even
that's why.
stop him. There was like no it was just like he was continuing a sentence.
Yeah,
Like, fill in the blank.
I
What
mean,
color is this?
well, I think part of the problem is that all the other Batman movies have done such a disservice to Batman and Bruce Wayne, not making him nearly as smart as he actually is, or that he's supposed to
Okay,
be in the comics. So
okay.
I think you just have low
I'll
expect.
concede.
I
I
think
concede.
I'm assuming you just have low expectations of what Batman
Yeah.
is because
Yeah, I'll concede. I'll concede to that point. You're right. You're right.
so yeah. I mean, it's the first time we've gotten a smart Batman, and Batman should have been smart all along.
Now, Paul Dano, he's the one that plays the Riddler.
Hmm?
I think he did a great job. Fantastic. He doesn't miss. He's good in everything. But he is a little bit cringy. To me, he's kind of seems like a school shooter that like streams on Twitch. Like he was kind of it was a like yeah, and not to say that like
I can see it.
he wouldn't stream on Twitch, but in this movie, he does stream to people. He's like his plans about like we're gonna like blow up the world or whatever. It seems that was a little bit cringe to
He's
me.
got
I
like
wish they
he's
wouldn't have done the streaming
got
thing.
like 500 incel followers.
Yeah, I was trying to read the comments, and they're all like, "You should use like this caliber of gun," or like it's like
Yeah,
this is kind of like this is a little cringy for like the Riddler for this super smart individual. He's like streaming on some program that's in
like 4chan.
Gotham getting advice. Like, I don't know. That seemed a little weird to me. I didn't like it very much. I don't know what your thoughts were on
I,
that,
I
but like
I mean,
that's what I thought.
I mean, it was like a necessary thing for his like I his end game, I guess, that we didn't know about for the last 30 minutes of the movie.
His end game.
His like his 30 minutes extra footage tacked on after he's arrested. That it's like, that whole extra little bit. Because you think the movie's over, they got him, and it's like, wait, no, the movie's not over. We still got 30 minutes left of this
The
sucker.
Riddler's plan hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, exactly. It was cool. Like, then the one time Batman did miss the thing, the under the carpet map, it was too late.
Yeah, and that's ultimately where like all the movie was for nothing because again, Batman does not succeed in this movie. He does lose to the Riddler. Now they do catch Riddler, and Batman gets interrogated. Not Batman gets interrogated. The Riddler gets interrogated by Batman. They're having a nice little conversation, and then he gets brought back to his cell. There's other people in there.
Hey,
I couldn't
Joker.
make out. Was the Joker in there?
Yeah.
It's not. Is it supposed to be Joaquin Phoenix?
No, it's
It's just like their version of whatever the Joker would be.
remember the guy from the Eternals who like kept wanting who could control the people's brains?
Yes.
That's the Joker.
Oh. Okay. Well, didn't know that. I'm not sure they're gonna have more Batman movies with Robert Pattinson. I would imagine those are probably gonna be in the works because it was pretty good. Do you have any final thoughts, David? I can't think. I feel like I've got my Batman out of me. I'm now Bruce Wayne. I got my Batman out.
You got the Batman out. Did you like what about Gordon? We didn't really talk much about Gordon other than the fact that he's the sole proprietor of the Bat Signal.
uh, fantastic. He was really good. He was better,
What's
Commissioner Gordon in The Dark Knight. I can't think Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman?
He was better than Gary Oldman
You
was,
think
in my opinion.
Bernard is better than Gary Oldman?
Yes.
Bernard from Westworld.
Yes, he is. I think he's a really good actor, and I think I
So
hope to see more of him.
That was Gary Oldman.
Do you think Gary Oldman's better, or do you think,
I think they're both.
uh
I think they're both. I think they're on par. I wouldn't say
yeah,
one's.
okay.
I honestly wouldn't say one's better than the other. I love Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman's a great actor, but Bernard's a pretty darn good actor too.
They're both very good. I think I might lean a little bit more toward I don't know. I'd have to think about it more. But they're both very good, and I don't think any fan or anybody who goes sees the movie will be disappointed
Well,
by
that could be fun. We get
performance.
a black Batgirl.
Sure, I'm down for anything.
Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's
That'd be
fine. That'd
cool.
be cool.
I
Yeah,
do. I
I'm
just
down with
want.
that.
I want more Catwoman. I want more. That I
Yeah.
thought she was awesome. I want more of her. So before we bring on any Batgirl people, let's get this
We
Catwoman
need to bring Batgirl
going.
because like the last time we've had Batman, Batgirl, and Robin in live action was Adam West. It's been a long time, guys. Let's get the trio back together in live action, please. Thank you.
You want Nightwing too? Might as well throw Nightwing in there. I mean, well
Night
then
Night
it
Nightwing
you're
wasn't
starting
in.
to approach Avengers levels of characters arcs you have to keep account of, and I think for the Avengers movies, even for the faults they have with showing all different characters, it's super hard to show like a bunch of super powerful main characters, not powerful in terms of abilities, in terms of like fandom, all together at once. It's really hard to do, and the
But
movie was already 3 hours long.
but Batman, Batgirl, and Robin are all pretty much equal power because they're all regular people.
Yeah, but they all have their own fandoms, and they all need to
Yeah,
pay respect to those fandoms.
yeah.
And Batman took 3 hours, and I felt like there was no room, really much more room for a Robin or a Nightwing or whatever the heck.
Well, I mean, I agree, but this movie was also doing a lot of extra backstory for Bruce Wayne's parents because thank goodness we didn't have to watch them get murdered again. But a lot of the plot still did involve their parents and like the stuff they were into. So I mean, there's a lot of just political intrigue behind the scenes that this movie got into that it doesn't have to now. Like they can do other things. This movie had a lot of characters, a lot of side characters, the
It did.
Falcones, and the Penguin and all his people, and there's a lot of back and forth and stuff with that. So I mean, movie did a lot. Um,
Fun fact about Zoe Kravitz, who's Catwoman. Her mom is her stepdad is Jason
Jason
Momoa.
Momoa, yeah.
I think that's and they're only like 10 years apart. Like, and it's hilarious to me. I don't know. I don't know why I find that so funny. I just like Jason Momoa, I guess.
Although the one thought I had while I was watching this movie is that if Batman was more like Peacemaker, he'd have a lot more peaceful Gotham City.
Oh, for sure. It would be a lot more peaceful.
if he
It would
just
be a better city.
if he just ended these people instead of
I'm just bringing peace. This is just peace.
Batman's gonna bring peace no matter how many women, men, women, and children he has to kill with his fists.
He'll get the job done.
He'll get the job done. And I want to see a Batman Peacemaker team up. Just Peacemaker just yelling at Batman
I
the
mean,
entire time.
theoretically, it's possible.
Well, because he does have the suicide chip. He could be ordered to work with Batman. It would be a lot of fun. A Batman Peacemaker team. Come on,
That'd be
let's
fantastic.
let's, let's
James Gunn, get James Gunn. Actually, I don't know what James Gunn's knowledge is when it comes to Batman. So maybe, maybe not. But James Gunn definitely should be involved if they do that.
yeah, that's a lot of fun. I would love to see that. Because since Peacemaker hates all the other superheroes, just making him work with other superheroes, like whoever, would be a lot of fun.
It would be.
Just because
That would be pretty
his
cool.
just like unmaskable disdain for them.
Oh man.
That'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, I really enjoyed the Batman. Highly recommend. If you
Yep. Go
if you
see it.
if you like Batman, go see it. Like I didn't even really want to watch the trailers for it. I'm like, it's a Batman movie. I'm gonna go see it. I mean, I like Batman, so I kind of a given. Go see Batman. I didn't
Yeah.
even need to see. Like I watched half of the second trailer. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'll go see this.
Yeah. I watched the first trailer and I was like, "Yep, this sounds like something I'll go see when it
Yeah,
comes out." And
yeah.
it's just how it is.
Did,
Batman's cool.
didn't need
It's
the
it's
second
weird. It's
trailer.
weird because these like Marvel characters, I don't feel like I care enough about them where I'm like, if a movie comes out with them, it's like, okay, I guess I gotta go see it because it's a Marvel movie or whatever. But like when it comes to DC characters, I'm more like, I don't even need to see the trailer. I'm gonna go see it. Like the Flash movie, there's a trailer for it. I didn't really watch it, but like, I'm going to see it because it's the Flash. I want to see it. I don't. DC characters are. I don't know. They're weird. I don't know what it is about them, but I feel like a lot of people feel the same way as I do. It's like a Superman movie's coming out. I'm just gonna go see it.
Well, if Iron Man was in anything, I wanted to go see it because I love Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. But now that he's gone, like I don't know if Iron Man's gonna have like the same appeal. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But Batman, no matter who's playing Batman, it's like Batman movie. I'm going to see Batman. It doesn't matter who's playing Batman, pretty much for the most part. And I don't know if that's because of mostly even when we were kids. I don't really remember there being like a Marvel cartoon. There was DC cartoons.
Spider-Man.
I I didn't. Oh yeah, I guess there was Yeah,
X
okay.
X
There was Spider
X-Men.
Man.
The X-Men cartoon series, Saturday mornings.
Yeah, but that wasn't like they didn't have like an Iron Man cartoon show. They didn't have like a Thor cartoon show.
I'm pretty
They
sure
did for
pretty sure there was an Iron Man TV at some point.
Was there? I don't know anybody who
I
watched it
think it
then.
was older, like late 70s. I don't know.
Oh, late
I
70s?
feel like Iron Man was older. But then there's always been like an event. There's been like Avengers like one shot movie animated that I've
Yeah.
seen. But they don't think they came on TV. They were just one shot, like straight to DVD, straight to VHS or
Yeah.
whatever, like back in the
That's the
day.
same thing with Justice League movies. I don't know, at least
Yeah.
for my experience and everybody really who I've ever had this conversation with, it's kind of like, well, I grew up with Superman and the Justice League, so I'm more inclined to like want to see these characters just because I grew up with them. I didn't grow up with like Thor. I grew up with Spider-Man. I didn't grow up with Thor or Iron Man or Hulk or anything. That
Well,
was
there was
later
the
when it
live
was like
action
2010.
Hulk from the 70s with
Okay. Yeah, but, like, the farther back you go, the worse this stuff gets. Like, it's I think there was a Iron Man live action show, and, does anybody even know what it was? Because it sucked. It was probably awful. I seen the
there
suit.
was a Spider-Man live action show from the 70s too, Spider-Man
Yeah,
and the
and that
Hulk. Lou
yeah,
Ferrigno.
and they were probably all very bad. Well,
Well,
that's
yeah,
Batman.
that's Batman. Yeah,
That's Batman.
I
That's Batman.
definitely recommend it. It was good. I'm looking forward to see more of this Batman. Um,
2 to 5 business years.
I hope
You'll see another
yeah,
one.
yeah 2 to 5 business years. I hope Matt Reeves does open up because the thing is, Flashpoint, as much as Matt Reeves doesn't want this to be tied to everything else, Flashpoint can do whatever. I mean, it could theoretically link anything because when you
It can
do
do whatever it
when
wants.
you do a multiverse, it rules are thrown out.
Nothing matters anymore.
Yeah, whatever one director wants doesn't matter because as long as they like, they're under the DC banner and they say, "Hey, Robert Pattinson, come be in the Flashpoint movie for like 5 seconds," it's like, "Oh, it's canon now."
Yeah. Well, we don't know how much we also don't really know how much control Matt Reeves had over this Batman movie because there's no way they just like he owns Batman. Like I'm sure DC can do whatever they want with Robert Pattinson's Batman
But also
just because they own that character.
the Joaquin Phoenix also was its own continuity thing
Yeah.
too.
They could bring these characters in, but then again, these characters are very grounded in reality. And the Flash, no matter how you slice him or dice him, is not a reality character. He's one of the strongest, if arguably the strongest DC character in or one of top 10 characters. So I don't know how they like this Batman Robert Pattinson can't literally be able to do nothing against the Flash. Even what we've seen with Justice League, he's not going to be able to do anything
Well, he could
in
punch
terms of
him
like
in the dark, and what if he's got a gun? That was probably one of my favorite fight scenes in the entire movie. The dark hallway with the muzzle flashes being the only light. That was
Oh
amazing.
yeah, I my comparisons. Uh when he flies off a roof. Batman flies off a roof
He wore a
and
wingsuit, a real life wingsuit.
yeah, I know, but I'm saying that's what Matt Reeves took liberty from The Dark Knight because that happens in The Dark Knight. Also, the flickering scene that you were just talking about with the muzzle flashes, that happens twice. Once in The Dark Knight and once in The Dark Knight Rises. I think liberty was taken there too. Okay, those are my Matt Reeves inspired things.
But it looked so much better in the Batman. I don't know, like that the
It did. It was a more extended fight, but I'm just saying,
like the
like there was
best.
definitely a liberty taken there. There was a
Sure.
couple things they took over.
Well,
Nothing's wrong with it. Nothing's wrong with it. It worked. It worked. It was fine.
a nice tip of the hat.
Yeah, a nice tip of the hat, showing respect to good old Chris Nolan and those Batman movies.
Absolutely. Well,
All right.
well, that's it for Batman.
I hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Hope you guys have a good day.
Email David at synthaholics@yahoo.com.
Yeah, you could do that too. You can always email us at synthaholics@yahoo.com. And thanks for listening. Live long and prosper. Do the Batman.